the trust fund. And is Angie and Chandel on camera?
Yes, you're on. I saw them earlier.
Angie? Oh.
I'm here.
Okay, and Chandel?
Oh, this is, I'm sorry, this is Elaine Wong.
Oh, we're looking for Angie and Chandel. You can just say hi to everyone. They are part of Carla's team and they'll be helping us, especially in the chat box, to answer some questions. Let me turn my phone.
Marsha, let me just mention this. Also, just FYI, we are recording this town hall and we will be posting the recorded video on YouTube and we will send it out to our membership. So if you have any coworkers, friends, family members who want to join but cannot, just refer them to the video that I will be sending out in the next few days. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and get started. Many of you about a week or two ago received another PAR notice from the fund. And what the PAR notice said was that on April 1st, the American Rescue Plan Act would put into effect a free subsidized COBRA program for those who are eligible. Okay, now, unfortunately, those people who are supposedly eligible have not been defined yet. They did, however, say that it's for those who do not have access to Medicare. So that's most of us, right? Unless you're retired. And the other one was a spousal or another group plan. That's the big question mark for us. We don't know what that means. So we're going to have to hold on and wait for the feds to get back to us. Supposedly by April 10th, we'll have another town hall to really get the fine details. But today we're here to basically tell you what we don't know, okay? And what we do know, sorry. So the other thing is if you look at that PAR notice, it says that you're eligible for this subsidy if you lost medical coverage and got a COBRA notice anytime from November 1st, 2019 up through today, or if you lose coverage after that, right? If you lost coverage on November 1st, you would get at least April cover. I'm talking about 2019. Most of us aren't in that position, and most of us, I think, would probably qualify. The only question mark is, again, the spousal coverage. And it really befuddles me that the feds didn't think of this ahead of time, because I've been in many webinars with, attorneys from across the country, and nobody can answer this question yet. It's very, very, it's nerve-wracking. So look, we're waiting for those guidelines. And what I'm saying about this is, look, if I guess what I'm going to say now is kind of just my opinion. Okay, this is my opinion. I was previously covered under COBRA. Okay. Oh, I was previously covered under medical through the trust fund. I was furloughed. I got a COBRA notice. I couldn't afford to take it. So therefore, my spouse was working. So I hopped onto my spouse's plan, but I still got to pay $300 a month to get onto my spouse's plan. So now are the feds telling me that because I have access to my spouse's plan, I now cannot have the free subsidized COBRA? That didn't feel right to me because I had the trust funds plan to begin with. Why wouldn't I be eligible for it? But again, I'm going to come back to this. This is not for us to decide. We have to go by the guidelines that the federal government is going to issue to us. So, unfortunately, many of us will be kind of, it's a wait and see for a lot of us. Okay, Carla, do you want to add to any of that?
Maybe just a little, and I just thank you, Marsha, because you did a good job in elaborating, but I just want to point out to the members, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of guidance, and that is the biggest problem with this. We can confirm that, yes, the president signed the stimulus bill and it's effective April through September if you're eligible. but we cannot tell you the details of the criteria. And that's why the PAR notice said that we are waiting for additional guidelines from the Department of Labor, which will be, they have to provide guidelines no later than April 10th. When we know those guidelines, Marsha and myself and the team will be able to provide answers thoroughly. Right now, we're just basically saying, you may be eligible for the subsidy. If you're eligible for COBRA, you should be eligible for the subsidy, but we don't know, again, what the criteria will be. So you will get model COBRA notices once we receive model COBRA notices from the Department of Labor. And all of that right now is all, we don't have any timeline for this. We know they have to get back to us, Marsha, if I'm not mistaken, by next week, Saturday,
Yeah.
or by this
that's what they
Saturday, I
say.
believe.
Yeah,
Yes.
this Saturday, the 10th.
But even when they give us the guidelines, it isn't, the switch doesn't just flip. You're going to give us guidelines. Now, each plan out there, not only our plan, has to go ahead and dive into the details of how it's going to be administered. So this is going to take some time, but I want you to be rest assured that the government did say, if you're eligible, you're going to get the subsidy, the free COBRA subsidy for April through September. Okay, so I just want to point that out to you, just to be very patient, because as Marsha and I know more, you'll be educated on this piece as well too, but we're very limited right now with the information that we do have.
Right. So I think the next question you're going to be is like, how do I apply for this? Right. I've seen a
Yes.
lot of, ads and just some little posters out there saying, apply for it. But how do I apply for it? Again, we have to wait until we get model notices from the federal government. When the trust fund sends out those notices, that's when you're going to apply for it. So you're going to fill that out. You're going to send it back in. The other question was, what if I'm already on COBRA? Do I have to fill out another form? We don't know. They may just have you fill out an attestation form and continue your COBRA, or they might have you fill out another form. That's all. It's when it happens, it'll happen. That's all we can tell you right now. Again, we would love to have another town hall once we get the details.
Mhm. Marsha, if I may point out something, if you don't mind. For those that have a new qualifying event, we call it in our industry a qualifying event. So let's just say you lost coverage come April 1st, okay? What we have done, because we don't have these model COBRA notices, what you as a member would get would be the standard COBRA notice that you would get from the plan because you lost coverage April 1st. So you're going to get that in the mail now. In fact, those that lost coverage April 1st, your COBRA notices were sent out on last Friday, the 2nd. You're going to get that in the mail. That's our standard COBRA notice. It's going to have rates. That is separate. If you wanted to go ahead and be covered in the month of April, that's your call. That's a separate COBRA notice. Another one will likely be sent when we get the model notice from the government for the free subsidy. So there's a lot of moving parts. And that's why we're actually here, Marcy, if I'm not mistaken, to answer the best we can with the limited information we have, but try to field those questions that really is at the peak of your mind right now, because there's free money, but how are you going to get the best bang for your dollar at this point, right?
So let's say you were to get one of those COBRA notices. And I think we better hit on this part now, right? In that PAR notice, it also stated that as of March 31st, remember the pandemic furlough credit rule that gave you 1 free month after you worked 80 hours in an employer's month and another 80 return to work credits if you had continuous coverage under the plan. All of that ended on March 31st. And the reason why it had to end is because this new federal subsidy program says that if you are eligible for another group health plan, you cannot be eligible for this federal plan. So it's pretty much a no-brainer, right? Do you want 2 free months or you want 6 free months? So we had to get rid of the free month and the 80 return to work credits. Now, some people may get caught in the cracks in these, and I've already heard it. But the good news I heard today was that Carla told me today that COBRA notices went out, the regular COBRA notices. I thought these folks would have to wait until the federal forms came, and that, I'm sorry, I think it's going to be about another 2 months before it actually gets up and running, unfortunately. So I'm glad that these COBRA notices went out already. So here's my advice, but it's coming from me, but it's not something that you have to do. It's ultimately your choice, okay? Each member's situation is different, but if you don't want to have a gap, I would go ahead and pay for my COBRA for April, or pay for my, if I was on self-pay, I would go ahead and pay for my self-pay for April. And when you do apply for this COBRA subsidy and the fund records that, they get reimbursed by the federal government, the fund will reimburse you for what you paid for April. Okay? Now, the other option is you don't do that. You just wait for the federal forms. You can take your chances if you're in great health, you know, I have no worries. I'm not going to go to the doctor. I'll just wait. I don't want to pay up front first. Don't do that. I mean, go ahead, you can do that. But what happens if you do need medications? You're going to have to pay up front, save your receipts. There's a form on the website to get reimbursed for drugs. But again, all of this, you got to wait until you apply for that COBRA subsidy and get accepted into it. Then you can now submit for reimbursement. You go to the doctor. Many times if it's your regular doctor, not a problem. You can tell them, hey, bill me later, doc. Doc bills you. Then you're going to have them resubmit the claim to PSWA or Kaiser, whatever it is. If dentists are usually kind of hard, they usually check. Very few dentists will take you unless you have coverage. So that's the other choice. So you got two choices: pay for it ahead of time, wait for reimbursement, or go ahead and take your chances. If you do have to pay for something up front, you're going to have to keep your receipts, submit for reimbursements after. Okay. I see Eddie with his hand up. I wasn't going to take questions this early, but why don't we call on Eddie? Eddie, why don't you go ahead and ask your question?
Thank you, Marcia. You know, I have a question in that I sent in my self-pay payment for April, but I had gotten maybe 2 days ago a notice from BRMS that they raised the rates.
Yes.
So my question is, so it's about $20, you know, it's not big, but am I still going to be covered?
Yes, you are. Carla, is that correct? You're still going to be covered. You're still going to be covered at the old rate. At some point, you may get a bill saying, hey, Eddie, you owe this amount of dollars, okay? But hopefully by then, the federal subsidized program will kick in.
Okay.
And you don't have to worry about it. Okay, but
thank you very much.
It's going to be wait and see. The time you really have to think about it is when you do get that notice and says, hey, Eddie, you owe $20, you know? Okay.
Okay.
If I may elaborate to Eddie too, I do want to point out, we just want to bombard you with notices. I'm sure you guys are just overwhelmed with everything that's coming from our office, because we are too. But unfortunately, the Board of Trustees approved the new COBRA rates right after the PAR notice went out. And that's why the wonderful timing of all of this, right? But ironically, Marcia, we just had a conversation before this Zoom meeting where we had a feeling this is going to be a concern because you already paid yourself, pay for April, and here you go, wait, it went up slightly. The fund will still honor you for that because you made the payment. Customarily, before this subsidy, what we would do is just say, oh, rates went up, you owe an additional $20, which doesn't mean you're not getting covered, but just make it whole by the end of the month. But with this case, you're still going to get the coverage. And to be all honest with you, Eddie, the likelihood is that you're probably going to apply for the subsidy once we get the model notices, and you'll likely be reimbursed the lesser amount that you paid, if that makes any sense, because you probably get subsidy. There is so much moving parts that, in all honesty, members, hats off to you for understanding this, because Marcia and I are thrown into this, and we still have to talk a lot of this through because it's ever evolving. So that was a good question, Eddie. So thank you. And I do want to point out as well too, Marcia, we have a lot of chat that's going on for those that's already on self-pay. So let's just say you started self-pay in January. Can you switch over to COBRA? Because it's only a COBRA subsidy now. Can I switch over to COBRA in April? The answer to that is yes, you may. You may switch over to COBRA in April, but you do have to sign the new model notice that will eventually come out saying that you're choosing COBRA for that 6-month period as well too. So yes, you can switch. If you're currently paying self-pay, and I understand why, because it's cheaper, you can switch to April to September, depending on your period, if you haven't surpassed the 18 months, and get the full pop of benefits as a free subsidy for you. Okay?
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, sweetheart.
Okay, Jamie, I see your hand up.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I have a question. So when actually is our deadline before we, say, for example, we're on the edge of should we pay or should we not pay? And I know it's up to us, but when is it that on your end you say, okay, Jamie hasn't paid for April and the subsidy hasn't covered his insurance, so now we will proceed to let his doctors know he's not insured.
Good question.
You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
a little window of time where I want to wait, but then because of the X amount of dollars, it's almost $1,000. I'm thinking if I can wait a little while, then I want to do that. But then again, I kind of want a definitive date to know, okay, if you don't do it by the 10th, then you'll have no coverage. And I don't want to go through the drama of having the doctor say, oh, you don't have insurance, or the dentist say you don't have insurance. And then, you know, that shame that you feel when you're like, okay, I should have paid.
Yeah.
You guys have any idea what date we
Oh,
have?
yes.
Because I don't want to go through that. That's what I'm.
Okay, so for self-pay,
Yeah.
for people who are on self-payment, that's the $521 one. That one,
Right.
you definitely should pay because those are due on the 15th of the prior month. So
Okay.
if you're going for April coverage, it was due on March 15th. So I think that one, right, Carla, we should pay. But for COBRA, if you have COBRA, Carla, why don't you answer that one?
And you know, honestly, Jamie, that's a loaded question. And that is something Marsha and I are very frustrated with because we can't tell you
Right.
when you're going to be eligible for the subsidy. Because again, we're still waiting on the Department of Labor to give us any bit of information. As an example, Jamie, let's just say you lost coverage April 1st. You want to make the
Right.
payment because you want to go to the doctor on the 15th of the month.
Right.
You probably, in all honesty, will not get the model COBRA notice that defines the subsidy. We're hoping that if we get it from the government, we'll send it out to the members around the 3rd week of April, maybe the end of April, realistically.
Wow.
That's how long it's going to take because we're talking thousands of lives here
Right.
that's being affected because people who lost coverage, the way that this bill is written, if you lost coverage as far back as November 2019, you're going to get this COBRA model subsidy notice from us. So you're talking
Right.
thousands of people. So by the time we get information back, it might take a few weeks before we process to make you eligible. We have to deem it first that you're eligible. Then we have to notify the providers. So Jamie, it's really one of those where the likelihood that your doctor will finally find out your eligibility may actually be the later part of May. And that's why Marsha, I think earlier said, if you don't want to be embarrassed, and I completely understand that. And if
Right.
you have the funds to pay the $1,000, you know,
Yeah.
and you just want to be on, you know, err on the side of safety, maybe you do want to pay it. And once we know you get the subsidy, the plan will reimburse you. But that's a personal call that all of you have to make that call sometime. But this is a lot of money. And we're just as
Yeah.
frustrated with the government as you right now.
So like you said, as long as if we go ahead and pay it and you receive it, we're covered for April, of course, like you would have been.
Correct, yeah.
And if and when you guys see, oh, you know what, actually Jamie was going to receive
Eligible
the
for the subsidy.
then we'll get kicked back a reimbursement check as that's found out to whoever has paid, qualified for subsidy, then we'll get reimbursed later.
And that again, Marsha, is a loaded question because we had that discussion too. Once the plan determines that yes, you were eligible for the subsidy, which by all means, I don't see why you wouldn't be. But at that point, the plan now has to go ahead and submit payment to the government because the government is basically paying your COBRA. So the plan has to make a request to the government to say, now reimburse us for Jamie's subsidy among the 1,000 others that's applying. We don't know when the government's going to pay us. God bless them, but we have no idea. So we are waiting for a Board of Trustees action to say, once we deem the members eligible for the subsidy, can we reimburse them without the government paying us back? That answer, Jamie, we don't have an answer for right now. I do think we'll have answers in the coming weeks, to be perfectly honest with you. But as of today, I can't really tell you when you'll likely get reimbursed.
Okay.
But yes,
Okay.
you will eventually
That-
get reimbursed, but that doesn't help
Yeah.
you because that's a large chunk of
Yeah.
change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, real quick.
Okay.
I know that
That
there's a
still
bunch of-
answers it. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
I
thank you.
understand. Yeah.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
Jamie. I know there's a
Yeah.
bunch of hands raised right now, but we do have a lot of questions in the chat box. So should we, these are long questions. Should we go through them first and then go to answer the raised hands?
Yeah, why don't we take
We have
some
two
of the
people
ones in the
answering.
chat boxes? They were in there for a while.
Okay, okay.
Go ahead.
Hi, Marcia. Hi, Marcia. Hi, Carla.
Hi.
Hi. Ala,
Wait,
since
we're going into the chat box. So, Brian, can you read out some of those questions? Some of them are being answered.
hi, Marcia. Hi, Marcia. This is Frankie.
Okay, I know, but we need to be muted for now, okay? Thank
Okay,
you, though.
okay.
Hi.
I'm honestly not sure which one are answered already because there's a lot of them. Can you
Okay,
pick-
so why don't I just go through them? Okay, so one of the questions says, are you eligible for COBRA if you are on self-pay? We answered that already. The answer is yes. For those that have Medicare, can we still qualify for the COBRA coverage? No, that's one.
Sorry, Marsha, are you muted?
Okay, that is one of the things. If you have Medicare, you cannot qualify for COBRA. That's one thing that they made pretty clear, right? Now, when you say this, Alvin, when you say when you're on Medicare, does that mean you are fully on Medicare or only certain parts? I don't know if that's going to matter. We may have to define that again when it comes up, when the federal issues their guidelines. Okay, another one. So if you signed up for ACA, then you are disqualified for COBRA. I don't believe so, right? You can, if you were still if you went on ACA, what happened was at some point when you were furloughed, you got a COBRA packet. You will get another COBRA packet, no matter what you were on, right? But there will be probably an attestation form from the government saying, check here, check here, check here, to see whether or not you're qualified. And that's the part that remains to be seen.
Marsha, may I elaborate on that a little?
Go ahead.
The one thing with this law, and I do want to point out, which is actually a very good law, under the regular COBRA subsidy, you had an extension of 12 months to make a selection under a different law that was signed. We won't even touch that one. But realistically, with the old law that's in place, is if you wanted, let's just say you lost eligibility in January, but you wanted to be eligible in April because you have services in April. Under the old COBRA law, in order to get eligibility in April, you'd have to make back whole from when you first lost your eligibility. So you'd have to pay January, February, March, and then April. So that's 4 months worth of COBRA. Under this new law, that's not the case. You can have a break. So let's just say you did get a COBRA notice from the, you lost your eligibility in December of last year. You didn't do anything because you can't afford self-pay or you can't pay COBRA. With this new law, you don't have to pay January, February, March. You're still eligible for the April through September. So this is actually a really good law. So because of that, you'll get a model COBRA notice to see if you qualify for the subsidy. And it's your job to complete and submit it so you can be eligible for that, okay?
Okay, so here's a question that I know someone answered, but I don't know if this is correct. So Derek, you might have to clarify for us. If we lost coverage due to furloughs, had to pay $1,200 a month for COBRA, couple months, then got coverage through wife when she went back to work, are we able to get a reimbursement? So you will not get a reimbursement if what you're talking about was pre-April 2021. We're not going backwards. The federal government is not going to reimburse for anything prior to April 2021. It'll be April through September 2021. That's it. So there's no reimbursement in that respect. But now if you're saying I, went and paid for COBRA and in April, yes, you'll get a reimbursement for that if you qualify. Okay, somebody asked, what is a PAR notice? What is it called? What is it acronym for, Carla?
Participant notice.
Participant what notice? PAR.
PER,
Or
yeah.
just a participant, PAR, participant notice. Okay. If I switch from self-pay to Obamacare already, can I switch back to COBRA? Yes. During these 6 months, yes. Do I qualify if I've been paying the self-pay amount since January 2021? Yes. I signed up for self-pay medical and prescription in order to be able to afford medical coverage, blah, blah, blah. Will I be able to get, yes. So I think we're getting a lot of these self-pay questions. If I am using vacation to get medical, will I be covered by COBRA or should I take another month of vacation? Well, okay, so when you take a month of vacation, if you're taking it in April, you're actually getting coverage for April, May, June, July. You're actually covering for yourself for July. If you take 80 in April, it's to cover July. So the answer is no, because if you're eligible for this COBRA subsidy, July is covered. Okay, does that make sense? And Carla, stop me if anything I say is wrong.
No, you're saying everything right. Thank you.
Okay, I already dropped off payment for April and then I received the letter. Okay, we answered that one already. No, you don't have to drop off the difference. You're good. After September, will we be able to go back on self-pay? Carla?
It's funny you should ask that. We don't have an answer for you right now. Self-pay is not tied into COBRA. That's completely a plan benefit. So that is something that the Board of Trustees will have to make the decision on that right now. So we don't have too much answers in the future. We're hoping that they would just allow you to go back to self-pay, but I can't answer that on behalf of the Board of Trustees. We'll let you know once we get answers.
Here's a good one. So if you're on self-pay, you should pay for May. That's due by April 15th. Yeah, I would, because that's what I would have taken anyway. So I would do it. But again, if you're short in cash and you can't, but then you're going to have to wait and you might get stuck with that embarrassing situation where you're in front of the doctor and they tell you you're not covered. What about moving from Quest to COBRA? Yes, you may. So if I didn't get the letter, does it mean I am not in COBRA yet? I work some hours during the month. Also, how does it work if you are close to retirement? If you don't qualify for the COBRA, would that be a break in coverage? Carla, I'm giving that one to you.
Well, whenever you talk about retirement, there's so many different moving parts. So what I would recommend to anybody who's close to retirement, I don't want to address that at a town hall meeting because everybody has different specifics that's detailed for them. So I would highly recommend you either email us at the Hawaii AFL info@brmsonline.com or make an appointment or call us because I'd rather be more specific to your specific needs.
Okay, how do we switch from self-pay to COBRA right away? There is no right away. We have to wait until the federal government issue us those forms and you will all get it in the mail. Oh, sorry, we don't know anything about unemployment, David. I wish we knew more about that. Okay.
Okay.
When is the deadline to pay for COBRA in April? Deadline to pay for COBRA in April is in April. Yeah, so as long as you pay it sometime in April. Okay, I'm gonna stop here because I know these are coming in later. So let's switch back to the people who have their hands up. Afrin?
Hey, Marsha.
Hi.
Yeah, a couple of questions from the members. One of them is, do they have to do anything when it comes to the COBRA? Is it something that they have to call you to have you set them up, or is it automatically done for them?
Well, you'll be sent a form. Everyone who is eligible for COBRA will be sent a form. And, you know, if you find out that all your friends got it and you didn't, please give us a call. I mean, you know, if your address isn't updated in our systems, then it could be possible. You know, we've had a few of those where people moved and they didn't inform the trust fund and their COBRA packets went somewhere else.
That's a very good point,
Okay,
Marcia.
so
Yeah, that's a good point. I want to point out, thank you, Efren, if you don't mind, that if you feel like you should have gotten a COBRA notice and you did not, you're absolutely right. It could be an address issue. And we don't
Okay.
want you to lose out on the subsidy. So please have them contact us right away.
okay, and next question for some of the members. Some of the people who are back to work already, either they are on call, or some of them is actually getting the 80 hours. Now, do the work medical kick in for those people who are back to work making 80 hours, or the ones who might be on call not getting the 80 hours? How does that work for those people who's like on call and only getting certain amount of hours?
Yeah, so for the ones who get the 80 hours, you will be getting medical through the contributions that the employer makes, right?
Okay.
As
Right.
normal. For those who don't hit the 80 hours and you don't have a bank, you've exhausted your bank, or you don't have enough in your bank,
Mhm.
along with your hours, then you'll be sent a COBRA notice.
Oh, okay. So basically, people who's on call, if they don't meet the 80-hour threshold, they should receive a COBRA notice to sign up to qualify for the rest of the insurance, because they don't have the 80 hours. But those who have 80 hours already, they be getting theirs through the contribution from the work coverage, correct?
Correct. But remember now, you may be getting different COBRA notices. So let's say you
Okay.
didn't have enough hours in March and you get a COBRA notice soon. That looks like the regular COBRA notice that comes from the trust fund. There's no other paper in there for you to sign from the government or anything like that. That's your regular COBRA notice. And if you don't want to have that PUCA, then go ahead and sign up for that and get reimbursed later.
Okay.
Later on, I'm going to say probably in June, where I think the feds might be caught up and we'll be just sending out their notices just to be safe, because I don't know how long this is going to take for everybody to catch up. Okay.
Right. And I think you answered the question already regarding reimbursement. So anything beyond April, prior to April, there's no reimbursement for those people. But if they pay for April or May, or they will get reimbursed later down the road once the federal send you guys the reimbursement money. But pretty much anything from April going towards September, they will be reimbursed if they pay for it.
Mm-hmm. Again, it's going to be as long as you are eligible. So it's going to depend on the attestation form that the government sends. Yeah. But as long as you're okay and you're eligible for that, you'll be reimbursed. Okay.
All right. Appreciate it.
Brian, can you tell who was up next? I think Joanne was there for a long time.
Yes.
Okay, Joanne?
Hi. Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you. You may have answered this, but I want to reconfirm I lost my insurance March 31st this year. I just received my insurance packet today. Should I know it's personal choice, but should I just go ahead and pick COBRA, so down the road I won't have to do a switch from self to COBRA? So should I pick the COBRA and then yeah, that's my question.
Well, again, yeah, Joanne, it's
Yeah.
going to be your choice. If you sign up for the full COBRA now, that means in April you can have the whole thing, right? You can have your family covered. You can go to the dentist. You can go to, the eye doctor, all of that. If you just take the self-pay, you're going to just get the medical and the dental, the medical and the RX. But if you take nothing, then you're going to be waiting for the
right.
federal. Yeah.
Right. So but in order to get the subsidy, so I don't have to fill out an extra form. I guess I'm asking in order to get if I'm eligible for the coverage, you know, from the government, is it best to pick COBRA now so I don't have to do another transition form from self-pay to COBRA? Does
I
that
don't
make
think
sense?
that matters. I think you're still gonna
Okay.
have to fill out a form for the feds. When
Oh,
the
okay.
packet comes, yeah.
If I may, Joanne,
Okay.
you still have to
Yes.
fill out another form, even if you pick COBRA now, the one you just received in the mail, because that's the old standard COBRA notice. The model notices, you're still going to get the one for the subsidy. That is going to
Yeah.
be completely different language, and an attestation is our assumption that will be on there. So even if you completed a COBRA notice for 4-1 eligibility, you still have to sign the other model notice that will likely come down your way in order to be eligible for the subsidy.
Oh, okay. So if I do self-pay, that subsidy is still gonna cover that,
The
and not
subs-
just COBRA.
Yeah, if you want to choose self-pay, that's your call, but you will
Okay.
still get a model COBRA notice, at which time you can apply for the COBRA and then get the full pop at that time, going back to April.
I see. Okay, got it. Thank
Okay.
you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Okay, who is next?
Charlotte.
Who did you call on?
Wait, did you have? Yeah, Charlotte.
Oh, hi.
Charlotte.
Hi.
Hi, Charlotte.
Late. So I just, in a nutshell, I'm on Kaiser that covers medical, dental, and optical. I paid up for April. So for me, just sit tight, keep paying, right?
That's
And
right. That's right.
then when it kicks in, it will cover the optical and the dental, right? The whole thing, right?
Yeah, whatever you have on COBRA now.
Okay, and the packets that you're talking about, is it two separate things, one coming from government and one coming from VRMS?
No, it's going to both come from us. It's just that the
Okay.
one that's going out now is the standard model COBRA notice. When we finally get the model COBRA subsidy notices from the government, the plan will get that, and then that's what we're going to come. It's still going to be sent from the trustman's office.
Okay, so we might get it in two parts, then we'll get the
Probably, yes.
packet and then the government one.
Yeah.
So just fill out both of those, send them back in.
And we're hoping to make it very clear as possible.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Erin Lifty.
Hi, Erin.
Sorry, you're muted, Erin.
Choppy mood. Okay. All right. Mine's a little confusing. So I became eligible in November for COBRA, but I chose to jump on my spouse's under the family plan. But with the subsidy, I can jump on the COBRA for myself, correct?
We don't know that.
It doesn't look likely right now, though, Marcia, does it? That's where we're waiting for
That's
guidance.
the big unanswered question, because it does say if you are eligible for another group plan,
Mhm.
and it has in parentheses spouse's plan
Mhm.
or Medicare, you won't be eligible for the subsidy. Now, it
The
may
reason-
be just a paper that you need to check off, so it may be your choice.
Because I have an upcoming appointment, and at the doctor's office, they said, because everybody's aware of this new subsidy, that I have to go through my own carrier first. And ETF is saying they're going to be secondary now for me because I'm supposed to go to my employer first.
Well, actually, that's good news. I mean, like, I like that. If they're
But I
telling you
mean,
you have to.
I'm not banking on what they're saying. I don't want to be without no medical.
Right.
But of course, it's open enrollment now, but that's not effective till July. But it sounds like everything's going to be backdated retro anyway.
Right.
Yeah, and we can't really answer that until the feds come out with their guidelines. You know, we can only hope and pray that that you don't have to go on a spouse's plan. We would like it to be that way. But I cannot answer you with certainty for now. We need to wait for the feds to issue those guidelines and definitions. Okay, I think we
Okay.
froze. Okay,
Hello, Marcia. Marcia.
Who's this?
Can I just want to clarify something?
go ahead.
Okay, I've been paying for the COBRA ever since, and I already paid for April. If anything about this, something in April, do I have to pay, continue every month?
Well, I think you would continue to pay until the federal, if you want to pay, you continue to pay until you get those forms from the federal government, right? The federally subsidized COBRA forms. When you get that, then you don't have to pay.
And
you will
I may get
reimburse
reimbursed. You may get reimbursed later.
April 2021 through September 2021, if you paid and subsequently get subsidized by the government, we will reimburse you
From September, I mean from April,
April through September.
September. Oh, thank you, Marcia. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, who else was up?
Roxanne?
Bayad ka nula sa-
Verna? No,
Roxanne first. iPhone
Roxanne. Okay, Roxanne. Roxanne, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, Marcia.
Hi.
Hi. I have a similar question from the other gal. Okay, my husband and I work for the same company and we have the same medical, right? But I hopped onto his on October, and then we started paying COBRA from November. Now he went back to work and he's making 80 hours. I went back to work, but I only worked like 21 hours a week. Now my question is he, do you know if he's going to be covered, or am I going to be covered and can go back on to COBRA on my own plan?
Well, and currently you're on your husband's plan and he's making 80 hours a month?
Yeah, but then again, you took away the return to work credit. So if he's not eligible, then can I go? And am I going to be eligible if there's no return to work credits, and can I go on to my own plan?
No, but if you can go under his plan, I mean, I don't think it'll matter, because if you can go under his plan and he's subsidized by COBRA, I mean, be subsidized, either the employer is going to be paying for it because he has 80 hours and you can still be under his plan, or if he doesn't get the 80 hours and he's subsidized by the government and you're under his plan, you'll still be included as part of it. So either way, you get the coverage.
Right, but the return to work, but say he just started going back to work. So he just made that 80 in that pocket for the return to work credit. So now it's gone. So I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying?
So when did he make his 80 hours? March?
No, we both went back to work on March 16th.
Okay, and what company do you work for?
Oh, we both work for the Waikoloa Beach Marriott.
Okay, you work for Waikoloa. I don't know. Do you know what date your month of March goes to?
So it goes, yes, ma'am, I do. It starts it ends on March 20th, or it starts on March 20th.
Okay, that's actually for April then. So you're not covered for April no matter what, because you didn't make 80 hours in March.
Right, we already paid April's though already.
Okay, so that's good.
Okay.
That's good. You paid April. Then you're wondering, should we pay for May, right?
Right. No, I know we have to pay for May until we find out. I understand that.
Okay.
Yeah. So my question is though, even though he went back to work, so I'm on his now. So say if he doesn't qualify, can I get my own, am I going to get my own medical back again? You follow what I'm trying to say?
Carla, why don't you, because I
guess
know that.
My question, that's a sketchy part, because when you say you're going to get your own right now with our plan, because you switched to his, we won't know to get you your own because you're still on his. So you're gonna have to come
Uh-huh.
forward and let us know you want to removed and go on your own plan. Because right now, we just have what we have, which is snapshot in time is you are covered under him. So if
Right.
you want to go separate, that's something you have to come forward and fill out a completely new enrollment form.
No, so I'm saying if he's not qualified for the subsidy, can I say, okay, I want to go back to my own plan and I'll be qualified for the subsidy? That's what I'm asking.
No, but Roxanne, why would he not be
Oh,
qualified
that was
for
my
the
question.
subsidy?
Why wouldn't he be eligible?
Yeah,
Thank you.
why
Well,
would,
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying if, yeah.
you know, if, yeah, no, he would be, as long as he didn't have enough hours, he would be qualified for it.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Can we go to Verna, please? Or did she lower her hand? Okay, let's go to JD. JD, please unmute.
Hey, Marcia.
Hi.
My wife and I work for the Hilton, and I'm under my wife's plan. She went back to work on last month. She went back on the 14th. But we have to wait 3 months now, right? In order to get medical, even though she made her 80 hours, you still have to wait for that 3 months because they took away that 80 hours, right?
Correct.
So we can qualify for April and May, right, for the
That's
subsidy.
correct.
And then, right, that's what I wanted to clarify. Yeah, because yeah, we have to wait that 3 months now, right?
Yes, so you definitely can qualify for the April and May. However, unless you pay for it up,
Right.
you know, unless you continue to make your COBRA or self-pay payments, you're gonna have a hole. It will be retroactive, okay? So the federal government,
Right.
the forms are gonna be very much delayed. So if you go to the doctor, go get prescription for April, it's very likely you won't be covered unless you go ahead and make the payment and wait for reimbursement.
Right. I think we're just gonna take that risk and pay with our own money in our
Okay.
own pocket, and then
Sure.
be reimbursed later, right?
Okay, keep your receipts now. Please be sure to keep your receipts.
Thank
Okay,
you so much. Much appreciated.
all right, you're welcome.
Thank you. Let's go to Galaxy Tab S6. Unmute, please. Thank you.
Okay, if I would have paid for April for the COBRA, do I pay the new rate or the old rate?
Your COBRA notice has the old rate that you already got in the mail, or you would have gotten in the mail. So you would pay whatever is in your COBRA notice now.
Yeah, because I just received a letter from you folks about the new rate effective April. So I just pay the old rate. Never mind the new rate.
To be perfectly honest with you, you can pay the old rate and we'll probably bill you. But by the time we bill you, you probably would have been eligible for the subsidy, so you'll get a reimbursement from us. I know this is kind of a catch-22 on that though. So if you pay the new rate, you'll get reimbursed the new rate too. Okay.
Okay, so just go ahead and pay either one then.
Yeah.
Okay. And also, if I decide to wait for the subsidy, for the government to react to this, do I still have to pay by the end of April?
That is normally when it is due. Yes, customarily the payment is due at the end of the month. So yes.
So I cannot wait till the government give you guys the guideline.
Again, Marcia and I are trying to be very positive. They have April 10th to give us some form of guidelines as to when we'll send something out. Marcia, my fingers crossed that we'll be able to send something out to the members by the end of this month. Fingers crossed. But please check in with us. We'll keep you.
Okay.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to Sandra and then Charlotte again.
Hi, Sandra. You gotta unmute yourself. Oh, there you go.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a question. Hi. Okay. I know okay, some people work. So if we jump onto I think my medical ends in April, yeah? And then let's say I don't have enough hours and I still work 1 or 2 days or something. I was just wondering what happens to those hours? Do they get banked? Do we start collecting banking hours, or how does that work?
Okay, so if you work only 1 or 2 days a week and you have enough hours in your bank, they will use that first for your medical.
Okay.
Okay.
So
But
let's.
if you don't have enough hours in your bank, then you'll get a COBRA notice
Right.
for the subsidy program. Or actually, if it's right now, then you'll get a regular COBRA notice. But when the federal subsidizes, you'll get a new federal subsidy notice.
Yeah, but let's say I work, because you know how business is now for a lot of people, and let's say you do make your hours for, you know, 1 month you make your 80 hours and the following month you don't. Is those hours being, like, let's say, okay, May or April, I exhaust and I go on to this subsidy one, right? And then let's say May I don't have, so I apply for this program, and then let me June I don't have enough hours, or I mean, is it going to be switching back and forth? Is the hours going to be banked, or how is that part going to be working? You know, because a lot of people are on call, or, you know, just work here and there. And
so the only way you hold bank hours is if you work over 80 in the month. So you gotta work 80 in the month, and anything additional up to 40 hours you can bank per month with a maximum of 100. Yeah. So if you only worked, 35 hours, what happens to it? It goes away. It doesn't
just poof, disappears.
Yeah.
Like,
gotta be over 80. Anything over 80.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Can I have Charlotte again, please?
Hello again. Sorry to be a question hog, but okay. So going back to that spouse coverage. So if your husband is working, but you opted to get the family COBRA packet, then it's not clear at this point. You're saying it's not clear at this point whether you can continue, they will cover that family plan if your husband has a job and has access to medical. Because right now I pay $40 for him plus the Kaiser coverage, the full family Kaiser coverage. So I'm wondering, you were saying it's not clear whether the government is going to cover that in light of the fact that he has a access to his own, because it's only like $100 difference, right, between the family and the single Kaiser plan. It's about $100. So I just took the family plan. So what's going to happen if the government decides that he is eligible for his own, so therefore my family plan won't be paid for? Will you still reimburse me for a single payer plan, a single Kaiser plan, which is 900 something? The family is 1,038 or something. You understand what I'm asking?
Yeah, Carla, I think that's.
Yeah, no, I can answer that. Charlotte, right now, this is something that we really need to have guidance from the DOL, but from what we can tell right now, because you are offered, because your husband is offered an employer-sponsored health plan, so you do have an offer, then the subsidy in theory wouldn't apply to you. And that's just how our interpretation is. I'm not sure if that really is how it's going to be played out when we get the guidance. The government is also noting, though, that if there will be penalties assessed if it later determined that you did sign up for the subsidy when you already offered other employer healthcare coverage. So, there's a fine line there. And that's why we don't want to say yes or no, because we really want to get clear guidance on what constitutes other employer health coverage, like you just noted. So I think that's something that we have to take a look on when we finally get the notices on Saturday and read that detail a little bit more. And the new model COBRA notices, we're hoping that will clearly define that, along with any penalties if people do put in for the subsidy and they were offered other healthcare coverage.
Okay, when are those packets? So we haven't received those packets yet, right?
We're still waiting. Yeah, we don't have them yet either.
Either one, the COBRA packet or the government instruction.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're still waiting on that. So the advice to me would be to just keep doing what I'm doing.
I would, yes.
And
just continue the coverage, and you'll be reimbursed if that's the case.
Yeah, but if it isn't the case, will I be? What's going to happen? Are we going to be? Are we going to lose out on the money that we paid for the family plan? If it turns out that if you were offered coverage from your husband's and you didn't take it, you opted for the family plan with VRMS, which is your right to do, right? And if it's determined that starting April that's gonna cause a problem because now, you know what I mean? Is it gonna be, they're not gonna reimburse me then?
If worst case scenario, you just wouldn't be reimbursed. But again, that's just stipulation because we don't know the guidance yet.
Yeah, so I wonder if I should just get my husband, switch over to that and wait to see what happens with you guys. Now that causes a different. Okay.
And Josh and I were so frustrated because we were
Yeah.
hoping the government will give us more time so that the message can get out to the members and give yourself more time to make these decisions. But no,
Right.
the government doesn't want to do that. They're doing just snap of their fingers and you have the free money, but wait, we'll let you know how you're going to get it. And that's basically what they're doing.
And if you're gonna get it.
If you're going to get it, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Joy is next, Joy Powell.
Thank you. Hi, Carla. Hi, Marcia. I have a question on that additional coverage. Like Marcia, you said you went on to your husband's. I picked up Medicare B in January because I wasn't sure what was going to happen. So anyway, A and B does not cover dental or vision. So will I be qualified for the subsidy?
No.
No,
That's my understanding, Marsha, is a no, because she has Medicare A and B.
but that doesn't cover what our insurance covers. It won't cover the dental. It doesn't cover the vision. Right now, I'm paying additional dental as well.
But the COBRA doesn't have, it's not a la carte, it's all or nothing. We can't carve out certain benefits. And I'm not saying that
Right.
really how the guidance is going to be, but right now, the way it is, my interpretation, that's actually all it is. We cannot carve it and just say, you're just going to get dental and vision. It's a bundled packet.
No, right, I understand. If I were to retire, I would have A and B plus the medical that we have now, right?
Yes.
So if I'm gonna go back to work, I would get that insurance.
Okay, for your case in particular, I'd like you to go ahead and contact us because we can do more digging as to how many more years of service and what you're on right now. Because it's a vague answer that I gave you, so I don't want to mislead you or anything. So if you don't mind just contacting us, and then we can really get more detailed information over to you then, okay?
Okay, then one more question. I will probably be going back to work at the end of April. So I've already paid for April. So at this rate, then I should continue to pay until I make my 3 months, because there are no 3 months for us, right?
I'm sorry, I don't quite understand the question.
Okay, so I paid for April.
Okay.
At the end of April, I'll probably be going back to work. Well, I will be going back to work.
Okay, your case is really different because you already have Part B, but you have Part B and you still have the plan. So Medicare is primary, the plan is secondary. So you're paying the full pop for secondary plan. That's what it sounds like because you want the dental and vision, correct? I'm a little confused in that piece.
Are you talking about later on or right now?
Right now.
Right now, I'm paying the self-pay as well as having A and B.
Okay. And as a self-pay, because as Part B, that Part B is now your primary. So what I'm saying is you're paying self-pay as your secondary strictly because you wanted, but you're not even getting dental and vision with the self-pay. You're just getting medical and drugs.
No. Correct. I'm only getting drugs.
Okay. Again, I would go ahead and not to take everybody's time here. I would go ahead and make sure that you give us a contact so we can go ahead and dig deeper.
Okay.
Make sure we're guiding you properly. Okay.
Okay. I'll make an appointment.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you for understanding.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Can we have May, please? May Tai?
Hello. My question is, my medical ended.
Sorry, May, please speak louder. We cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So my medical ended last November, and I've never continued with either COBRA or self-pay. will I be qualified for this subsidy right now if I didn't pay? I didn't have any medical from November till now.
You will get a model COBRA notice from us. Yes, correct.
So I'll be qualified. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm
Okay,
going down the chat box again.
yes.
I have Aloha Care. Will we still be eligible? Yes, you will get a COBRA packet. Whether or not you're eligible is going to depend on the guidelines. Okay, I think we answered this question. They called BMRS. I'm already back to work in March. They said I'm only covered for June. That's correct because you're covered 3 months out. What happens to April and May? So April and May, you can pay for it now. If you get a new COBRA packet, or if you're already on COBRA or self-pay, you can go ahead and pay for April and May. If not, you can wait for the subsidy, the government subsidy forms, because those will be coming. Okay. My Aloha Care didn't start until December 2021. That doesn't, what? Didn't start. Okay. So that doesn't matter if your Aloha Care coverage doesn't start until December 2021. You still need coverage for April through September. Put in vacation in July to have medical coverage in October. So yes, that's correct. You absolutely can do that. For those of us like a 70-30 medical with spouse, can we still apply for coverage? Is better with COBRA? You know, if you're talking 70-30 with the like the marketplace plans, I think that's going to be your call. I think COBRA will probably be better because I think our fund has a very, very good plan. Okay. Will we be receiving letters in the mail? Yes, you should be getting packets in the mail. Oh, okay. I've been paying for HMSA out of pocket since November and was unaware that COBRA was even an option. Will I still get a letter? Yes, as long as you previously had medical under the plan and then lost it, you should get another COBRA packet. I'm hoping, like, I'm sorry, I missed, so it was Tanner. I hope your address is updated with the fund because you should have gotten a COBRA packet. So make sure your address is correct with the trust fund. After September, this is a very good question. After September, can I go back to the marketplace? You know, you remember we had this one marketplace thing with that woman, Martha. Martha, she doesn't even know that yet. So again, this is one of those things that the federal government hasn't defined. Now, I did speak with the lady from Quest, and she said you can get back on Quest right away. So, you know, everything stops. Federal subsidized program starts on September 30th. You can go back on Quest on October 1st. That's what Quest told me. Marketplace, they don't know yet. Government hasn't given any guidelines on that. Used 80 hours to cover my insurance and, oh God. Okay, there is too many. Some of these we've answered already. When will I be receiving the letters in the mail? We don't know. Probably May. I have been paying for HMC out of pocket. Okay. Oh, shoots. I can't move this down. Okay. Okay. Oh, that was Charlotte. We already answered that. Okay. So, there we go. Erin, you have a question?
Yes. So this is in my son's situation. He's doing the self pay COBRA. So up until April, from what I understand, you can claim that on your taxes. But with the subsidy going in forward into April, are they going to be able to claim that? Because it's kind of like a stimulus thing.
I have no idea.
We have no guidance on that, Erin. I'm sorry.
Okay, probably not. Because I was reading something that they just updated today, and they're saying that probably not, because the employer would have to take that payroll tax credit. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
we-
all confusing.
It really, it is confusing. It really is. Hopefully the model notice will give us some information, fingers crossed.
Okay, Deb.
I had a question. So if I'm on self-pay, but I want to do the COBRA, right? Whenever that paperwork all comes in and you guys have all the forms, but being that I don't want to miss out on the 6 months of getting like dental and vision, how do I make up the difference? Do I pay you guys the difference for the full COBRA for now and then just get reimbursed later? But I'm on self-pay, so how does that work? Because by the time all the paperwork gets filled out, who knows, right? And then it'll be like, I lost out on 3 months, you know, that I would have got dental and vision. So what would be my, what's your recommendation?
You're in a spot that's pretty much like somebody who, you know, doesn't pay up front. And then, so look, so you got self-pay, you're going to have to pay the self-pay because that's what you elected. So
Right.
you can go to the doctor and you can get your prescriptions. If you go to the dentist or for eyeglasses, you're going to be paying up front and then get reimbursed. Save your receipts, get reimbursed once you get enrolled in the federally subsidized program back to retroactive to April 1st.
Okay, I couldn't pay you guys now for the difference.
No, unfortunately not.
Sorry, I really had to ask the question. I
Probably
knew the
screw
answer
you
was
up
like,
for
yeah.
that. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
Very creative question.
I do want to point out, I see a lot of the chats saying the COBRA packets from the DOL COBRA packets, these model notices that Marcia and I are referring to, the model COBRA subsidy notices. Customarily, the standard COBRA notices are quite thick. They're like a packet that comes in a 8.5 by 11 manila envelope. It's about 12 pages. We don't even know if the model COBRA subsidy notices that the government, the DOL will be generating, if it's just going to be 1 or 2 sheets, or if it's again going to be another 10 or 12 packet. We don't know what to anticipate. Okay, so we just want to let you know, you may get the standard COBRA packet, which is a thick envelope, or you may just get a regular envelope because it may just be a couple pages. We truly at this point have no idea what we're going to be sending out for these model subsidy COBRA notices, okay? I just want to give you a heads up on that. Don't expect the same thing because we don't know what to expect yet either.
Okay, Anna Rose.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, I had a question on chat. I'll read it to you.
Okay.
What is Medicare? Because everyone over 65 already signed up for Medicare when they were 65, but I have always been covered by my employer, and now I have self-pay by union. So how does Medicare affect when I sign up for the subsidy? Do I say I have Medicare or do I say I don't? I only have A, which I had to sign up for when I was 65.
I can't speak, Marcia, just to let you know, I can't speak too much on Medicare because you have to be an authorized representative of Medicare, Anna Rose. So I'm so sorry, I can't really speak on their behalf. But I can tell you what the plan is doing. If you're paying self-pay, then you're covered under the plan. Because Part B is your medical. Part A, I believe, is another piece which I'm not too familiarized with.
Okay, so it sounds like that since I'm getting, I first got covered by my employer, and now I'm being covered by union, that when I apply for the subsidy, I will still be covered by the union. In other words, I don't think Medicare must not. I've gone through this so much because when I first signed up for the self-care, they didn't pay any of my doctor's bills. Finally, it got settled by John over at PSWA that it wasn't filed correctly. It kept saying I had Medicare. So now they're paying for my my medical under the self-pay. So I'm assuming if you get self-pay, that Medicare doesn't mean anything.
Medicare Part B is really your if you have Part B, which is usually what they take off from your Social Security check, if you register for that, that would be a primary under your medical and drug plan.
So
because
just don't sign up for that.
B, the plan is the primary, and that is who's covering you right now if you paid self-pay.
Okay, so just don't file the B, Medicare B then. Just
You need
that
to
might
file
take.
when you retire if you want to be
Okay,
on the,
I see.
managed.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
Okay, is there anybody else? Okay, Deb, did you raise your hand again? No, maybe you didn't put it down, Deb. Okay, now, is there anybody else who asked a question in the chat box and was not able to get their question answered? Can you either raise your hand or just unmute yourself? No, everybody's questions are answered?
I did see, Marsha, one question, if everybody gets the model COBRA subsidy notice. The answer is no, not everybody will get it. You will only get it if you had a qualifying event. And let me define qualifying event: if you lost coverage, not by being fired or anything of that nature. But if you had a qualifying event going as far back as November 2019, because November 2019 to April 2021, which is the first date of that subsidy, we get 1 month worth of that eligible subsidy. So if you had a qualifying event effective November 2019, only then you will get these model COBRA subsidy notices. So not everyone is getting it, but with this furlough and the pandemic, a vast majority of the members will likely be receiving it.
Okay, call in user 1. Can you mute yourself unless you have a question?
Is that me?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a question. It's like, I'm Elaine Wong. I work at PK.
Oh, hi,
And that
Elaine.
Hi, how you doing? Well, that application, is it just one time you have to do, or is it going to be every month you have to fill out that application to get the government COBRA?
Subsidy. That's a good question, yeah, Marsha?
It's probably once.
I'm
but
hoping
if
that
you-
too. I'm hoping
But
that
if you do it once, but then you go back to work and the employer is contributing and you're back on the regular plan, and when you fall off of that, you're probably gonna have to do it again, right?
Oh, okay,
So if you
okay.
go
That
back
was,
and forth between getting hours and not getting hours per month, then you may have to go back and forth. But,
okay.
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 Okay,
Okay, that's,
all good?
yeah. And then, the money too that they're giving for the COBRA, the government, is there a limit on it, or that, so some people might not get it because, it runs out?
No, it's 6 months from April to September of
September.
2021.
So whoever applies will get it if they're qualified.
Yes, correct, if they're qualified.
Okay, okay. And if you get the application in the mail from the government application for COBRA, does that mean basically you kind of qualify already?
No.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Okay, Suzanne,
Hi, Marsha.
hi.
Then okay, I know they're not gonna be sending the packets out to everyone, and I'm at work right now, but I'm anticipating running out of my medical for June and July. So because I want to be proactive, do I have to wait until June and then possibly have a break in my medical, or can I send in a payment prior to that without the packet being sent to me?
I can answer that. No, unfortunately, we have to, the way that the system is, we'd have to show that you had a break in coverage, and then that automatically generates the COBRA. The good thing for you is by the time, like you said, you're going to lose coverage in June or July, we anticipate numbers to drop considerably. So I really don't anticipate a delay in getting the turnaround time to get you eligible, given the fact that you should have answers by that time.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, who else we got here? Charlotte. Hi, Charlotte.
One last one. Okay, because I may retire within the year, I have no choice but to stay in BRMS, right? So is the government going to say to me, I don't qualify because my husband can offer me the coverage? Because I have to stay in BRMS, right? I can't go to my husband. Otherwise, I don't get my coverage when I retire. So is that going to be considered, I wonder?
That might be a concern, Charlotte, honestly. Because for the plan, you have to have been with us for the 12 months preceding your retirement date. So again, we're hoping to get better guidance, but right now, I would just assume that even if you're
Yeah,
covered
so I
under,
really have no choice. So worst case
for
scenario.
now, let's just wait to see what the government has to say.
Okay, all right, suck eggs on that one.
Charlotte, make sure we touch bases
Retire anyhow, sweetheart.
before you do anything. Charlotte, before you do anything,
What?
please call. Okay, please talk
What?
to us before you do anything.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna stay the way it is. Okay, bye.
I don't want you to be sucking eggs. Okay, Emiko.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Very good. Well, thank you for making it this time. This is very important for all of us. Everybody has a different question and situation. Mine's also very different than anybody else. I assume I need to make an appointment to see you guys. However, really quickly. So right now I am under TTD, so the workers' comp. More likely I am eligible to receive a benefit through disability credit all the way to end of June. Now from July 1st, possibly I am not able to have any insurance. So do I need to approach to you guys when the close to the end of June, or automatically you through the government I receive a package? How's that goes?
Our system will determine when you run out of disability credits, it will determine when your eligibility ends. At that point, a COBRA notice will be sent to you.
Okay, so I don't need to call or do anything.
You can call us if you just want to make sure that you feel comfortable with it. But in theory, the COBRA notice should still be sent to you around the time that you exhaust your disability hours. And I do want to point out again to everybody, this DOL COBRA notice subsidy is not coming from the government. It's still coming from our office, the trust administrator. It's language that's coming from the government, but don't expect something from the IRS or DOL. It's going to still have the plan, letterhead, and everything on there. Okay?
Absolutely. Okay. Another question due to the related to this disability credit. So weekly I do receive 20 hours a week. So let's see, July I'm not enough, disability credit. So more likely I need to have some insurance. But where if I have a leftover 20 hours disability credit, can I keep that leftover credit, or automatically it's going to be gone no matter what?
Emiko, I would highly recommend you contact our office because we can let you know whatever disability credits just for you specifically. Okay?
Got it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
Goodbye.
Okay, anyone else? Again, anyone in the chat box whose question we didn't answer, do you want to unmute yourself or raise your hand? We'll answer them verbally.
I had a question.
Keone, go ahead.
Hello, what you call my other bartender, he was asking if he had to pick up medical, he had picked up medical other than COBRA. And now would he be able to keep that one and get the COBRA also, or would it just be one or the other?
How is he getting the other medical? I mean, is that just he picked up a separate rider or through another employer-sponsored health plan?
He bought it through somewhere else. He's paying like $1,000 a month for his coverage with his kids.
Okay, Marsha, if you don't mind, I think you should realistically, because it's not offered by an employer, he picked it up individually as a rider. He should be able to apply for this subsidy and should be eligible for it.
Okay, right on. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, anyone else? We got about 10 minutes left. If there are any other questions. Oh, there we go. Michelle?
Hi, Marsha.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so will the Board of Trustees gonna make a decision before these packets get sent out? So in case, come September and we want to jump back to self-pay, before we decide to go on the regular COBRA? Like, will the Board of Trustees make the decision that we can jump back to self-pay before these packets come out?
I see what you're saying. So what I think, Michelle, what you're trying to say is if the board was to decide not to let you go back to self-pay, you'd rather just stick with the self-pay from the get-go, right?
Yeah, or
okay.
Maybe gotta save money.
I I don't know if I'm in any place to be able to answer this, but I'll just give you my opinion.
Okay.
Ooh, they might kill
Answer
me.
for you because Marsha's a trustee, so I'm afraid you might say something.
Oh, well, hell, I'm going to talk all of them into saying, yes, you can go back.
Yeah, she's representing the union trustee. We don't know what the management trustees will say, right, Marsha?
Of course, we would tell them, yes, we want you to go back. Of course, we would want you to have that option. That's crazy if we don't. There, that's my answer, Michelle.
Okay. Thank you.
I really don't see why not. I mean, it wouldn't make sense. I can't see it, but who knows? Who knows? But
right, hopefully we should, we could go back to work before that. You know what I mean? Before that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
It's just like restoring status quo, right? But remember now, that means if you go back to self-pay, remember self-pay, you could only have it for 1 year, whereas COBRA, you could have it for 1.5 years.
Right.
So that's another thing you need to think of too.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Who else? Sandra, I see your hand up again. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, back to Michelle's thing. So in other words, you can go from self-pay to COBRA, right? If we go and get into this. And then after September, when it all ends, we can go back to self-pay, or like some people I know, they don't purchase medical. Is that all right also?
We're hoping that, some action will be taken so that those who came off of self-pay can go back to self-pay on October 1st. Now, you always have the right to leave and go somewhere else, but I don't know if the other folks would take you. So I would definitely make sure you check on that first. Like if you go into the marketplace, I think sometimes they need a qualifying event also. So I don't know how they're going to determine that. So I would definitely check it out before you actually take that step. Is that an okay answer, Carla?
Yeah.
Is
That's
that
a
right?
safe answer.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? So let's see. Number.
Wait. Oh,
you have another question, Michelle? I mean, Sandra?
No, sorry, I unmuted myself. But so I know when we first started this whole thing, remember we had the meeting and they said, once you're in self-pay, you're in self-pay. Once you're in COBRA, you're in COBRA. But now things change, yeah? So let's say for Michelle, she's self-pay and she jumped into the COBRA where we get the full package, right? So after September, can she jump back into self-pay instead of taking that whole dental, vision, and all that?
Yeah, that's what we're hoping. That's what they were talking about.
Oh, we don't know yet.
The trustees would have to, it would be an action by the trustees. The trustees would have to vote on that.
Oh.
And, the trustees are made up of management trustees and union trustees. And I'm sure, for sure, I know the union trustees are going to say you should have that right. Because we want to give you as many rights as we can.
Okay, thank you. Just want to clear that.
I think, I'm pretty sure management would go along with that too. They, it's no loss to them really, so. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, it's already 6:30 if you folks want to.
It is? Okay, let's do one more question. I see Afrin's hand up. Afrin.
Hey, Marshall, for all of the retirees, where does this whole program puts them, the people that's about to retire or thinking about retiring? Is there anything that would disqualify them for the union's medical if they don't take the COBRA, or if they take the COBRA? Because that's one of the biggest questions that they've been asking me about when it comes to retirement. Is there anything that will disqualify them, like not having something for 12 months, or if there's a gap? Where do these people lie at for that?
Well, for sure, if there's in order to retire with retiree medical, you have to be 12 months continuous prior to retiring. So if I'm going to retire on April 1st, 2021, I should have been covered by the plan since May 2020. So May 2020 to April 2021, I can retire.
And that's the union's plan you're talking about, right?
Correct. So whether it's self-pay or COBRA, that's fine. Both are considered the plan.
Okay. So long as they don't have any gaps and they are 12 months
continuous before retiring.
They're fine when it comes to them. Okay.
But always,
Thank
I
you.
always highly recommend anybody who's going to retire, contact the trust fund and make sure all your ducks are in a row before you make that decision.
Yes. Thank you, Marcia.
Okay.
Okay, so so I am going to now give you contact information. If you need to set an appointment with the trust fund, go onto their website and there's a little tab that says make an appointment. You can make either an in-person appointment or a telephone appointment. You may also email them at HIInfo.
HIAFL info.
Oh, HIL, good. HIAFL info at brmsonline.com.
Can you also type that in the chat box, please?
Thank you. Oh, will you? Are you typing it, Brian?
Oh,
No.
somebody did. Somebody did. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Somebody did. Great.
All right. Are we all good?
I just want to point out one thing. We also have a drop box outside of the office, right in the front. So if you want to make a payment, you don't have to come into our office. You can just drop the payment with the election forms right outside. So there's a drop box for your use too if you come over the weekend or at night when we're closed. Okay.
Okay, everyone. So we're going to end this now, but watch out for a follow-up, because when we do get these guidances, and hopefully they are clear as clear can be, and they're not ambiguous, we can come
Fingers
back
crossed.
on here and, give you like, okay, this is how it's going to be. All right. But thank you for joining us. It was really wonderful seeing all of you again. Take care.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Aloha.